That are about to come out here. She plays Hera on Ahsoka. He plays Ezra Bridger. Y'all make some noise for Mary Elizabeth Winstead and Eman Esfandi! Oh my goodness. Hello. How are you doing, you two?
Great. Happy to be here.
Yes, very happy to be here.
Absolutely. We're all happy you're here too, right guys? Oh, come on. Thank you guys so much for being here. We'll jump right into it. It's been just over a year since the finale of Ahsoka aired. Looking back in the season, how proud are you guys of what you guys accomplished, what you guys put out there?
What a question.
So proud. I mean, I can't imagine one thing getting to be involved in this incredible universe with the most amazing fans and the most amazing history and legacy. It's incredible. And to do it with a group of people who are the kindest, most enthusiastic, loving, generous people. I feel just like beyond lucky and lucky that it leads to things like being here and meeting you all. It's like the gift that keeps on giving. It's amazing.
Yeah, agreed. Same.
Same. I concur. And you, because Eman's been in Star Wars for a long time and we love him, you've always been seeing what he's getting into and how big the fandom and the franchise is, so you always want to find your way eventually to jumping on board, or?
No, I think I always thought if it happened, it would need to happen organically. You know, it would have to be something that the wizards who make these amazing films and TV shows would want me to be a part of. So, you know, this was the first role that came my way, and when I took a look at it and saw who Hera was and saw what an opportunity it was like a no-brainer to get to be a part of this world. But it wasn't necessarily something that I thought, oh, that's gonna happen, or that I envisioned for myself. I don't think I knew it could be an opportunity until it came along, and then I felt like, wow, incredibly lucky to have it.
And Eman, you have arguably one of the most unique experiences before you even auditioned, and if anybody doesn't know this story, that's why I'm calling it out right now, because I think it's worth telling. So please tell everybody here exactly what you went through that kind of led to you auditioning for Ahsoka.
Okay, thank you. Long story, somewhat short, medium maybe. I didn't really grow up on Star Wars, so I didn't know about anything about Ezra Bridger, but there was something online going around by this artist, Pandora Young Art, and it was like an older Ezra. And people were talking about a space Aladdin, and I had auditioned to play Aladdin like back in the day when they were doing that, but I was just like in college still. I didn't really have I wasn't really in it yet. So when Space Aladdin came out, or at least online, I was like, I could play Space Aladdin, that's really cool, you know, I like that. So then I do a little research and I have this interesting experience at home, just alone. It seems a little bit weird, but it felt like an Ezra Force Ghost showed up and was like, hey, I'm gonna come through you, and if you're down, you'll get to play me. And I was kind of like, I don't know what's going on right now, and maybe I'm crazy. But it inspired me to send a bunch of photos to my manager and agent, very confidently saying, hey, when they cast for Ezra Bridger, I'm gonna play him, use these photos. And I hadn't booked anything with them for like 3 years. I had actually quit acting at the time, so they were like, what are you talking about? Like, where is this coming from? And I was like, it's kind of one of those woo-woo things. I can't really explain it. And like 6-7 months later, I get the anonymous audition for it. And I'm certain, you know, from the character description, and they're saying like, we think this might be that role you were talking about. And when I saw the description and was going to tape it, it did feel like whatever that feeling of Ezra was came back, and I was like, oh, all right, we're doing this. I'm not crazy. It wasn't something I made up in my head. And then we sent in one self-tape, and within a couple days, we got offered the role. So it was very, very serendipitous, very force-driven, magical. which is so Ezra, I feel like.
Yeah!
Like he would do that, you know?
That's right! The universe works in mysterious ways, my friends. And then you get the call. You said it was a few days after sending in the tape. Your initial reaction, are you losing it? Did you tell your family right away? Like what happened?
When I got the role?
Like the moment you heard you're Ezra Bridger.
I was taking a nap or something, and I woke up from a nap to the call, and it literally feels like I woke up from this nap and I've been in that dream ever since. Like actually I'm still dreaming is how it feels. But I woke up from this nap to the call, and when they told me I got the role, I actually just really felt a lot of relief because I was a little worried too that I was maybe going crazy. You know what I'm saying? I had that experience, was a little confused. So when it happened, I was like, thank God, I'm not crazy, you know? And now I'm gonna be a Jedi, which is gonna be cool.
Not just any Jedi.
That's right.
I mean,
Job well done.
Ezra's up there. You know what I mean? He's done some things that other Jedis have not. So that's pretty spectacular. Christina, where you at? From Houston. Raise your hand, bro. There she is. Christina wants to know, how did each of you prepare for your roles? Did you just watch Rebels religiously?
Yeah, I mean, I watched as much as I could. I kind of took a lead from Dave, who gave us all kind of these you know, the lovely and talented Dave Filoni, who kind of gave us specific episodes to focus on for each of our characters, and so I kind of honed in on some of those episodes, and then just tried to like consume you know, as much as I could from everywhere I could to kind of get a jump start into it, and then you kind of try not to stress out too much about it, because you have to just get to the point where you feel like you understand the character and who they are. And once you feel like, or at least for me, once I kind of felt like I understood her, then I thought, okay, I can embody what her essence kind of means to me, and bring her to somewhere new without it being kind of an imitation of something that's already been so well done before. So that's kind of what I tried to do. I tried to kind of marry you know, where she's been to kind of where she's going, and with me in the middle.
Mom, what about you?
Yeah, and that's a great point to bring up is Hera Syndulla and Ezra Bridger, Vanessa Marshall and Taylor Gray were so fully realized already. These are characters that people grew up with. Yeah, a round of applause for them. Like, we wouldn't be here without their work, right? And so to be able to look at anything that is fully developed, like these actors went through their entire process to create something so alive, was really a blessing for all of us that did live action adaptations. I was given a few, like 3 or 4 episodes from Dave to watch. And then I don't know, something told me not to watch more, because like off the cuff I was kind of like, okay, animated acting is different, and I don't want to, I'm like kind of a sponge, so I didn't want to get caught up in any type of intonation, you know, like some sort of voice that maybe would be animated good but not live action good. So I just read all the Rebels episodes on Wikipedia. There's like summaries. Yeah. It's like I did my what's that thing called when you get it?
The Spark Notes.
Spark Notes. Thank you.
We're
I did my
showing
Spark
our
Notes.
age.
Actually, I did my Spark Notes on Ezra and sort of read him like a figure, like a historical figure. And yeah, but I did a lot of research on George Lucas and Star Wars in general. Like I watched all the documentaries and BTS with Mando, and like that was what I spent most of my research on, because I also was just so curious about the universe and the fandom and like how the world operates, which it's still beyond me. It's so vast and has so many layers, but that's mostly what I did.
What is it like your first day, either in costume or not, just walking onto set? Like, what is that experience like? What are you going through?
For me, I think there's like this feeling of gratitude anytime that I'm there, because it's really pervasive throughout the set. Like everyone who's there feels so lucky to be a part of Star Wars, and you kind of feel this like giddiness that's kind of just at the surface, trying not to bubble over because everyone's got to be professional. You're there to work, but you kind of feel this little bit of giddiness everywhere, of everybody looking at each other being like, oh my God, this is our job, this is so cool. So that's just so nice. It just feels there's like a certain lightness in the air to that, even though you're doing something that I think in different hands, or if it was something else, it might feel really stressful and pressurized because there's so much, there's so much involved, there's so much at stake. But this just feels different. It just feels like this really light, happy energy because it's like a bunch of kids getting to live out their dream, and that's absolutely how it feels.
I love how you described that. Eman, what about you?
Yeah, that feeling is there forever, for sure. My first day, actually, I worked with Mary Elizabeth.
Oh my God, that's right, it was your first
My
day.
first day was my last scene, the Hi Hera, I'm Home, which was interesting, right? Yeah, thank you. So to come in and be wearing the iconic Stormtrooper outfit, which was like a last second switch, and I'm just like, oh my God, it just keeps getting better. And then like to immediately come onto a set that has like the smoke from a ship, and then like Hera and her whole rebellion, like everyone lined up, and it was just like such a big production. I've only ever done indies and shorts, so I was like, whoa, this isn't crazy. It's like a flash mob, but like way better, of course. But that was my head. But there was an interesting thing that it was all like really surreal and interesting and light and fun, but I had done a movie, an A24 movie called The Inspection, and I play a young Marine who's starting boot camp in 2005, so kind of post 9/11 era, and he gets a lot of that heat for being Middle Eastern. So I'm playing this character that got a lot of that heat, and there was a scene in that movie where one of the sergeants gets triggered by my prayer beads, and he picks me up. We're all aiming a gun at a barrel, we're all practicing shooting, and he puts me in front of it and has this whole monologue about like, this is what the enemy looks like. Don't let his outfit fool you. It's a very dark, heavy scene on race and assimilation and that kind of thing. And that was really tough in that movie, like just to kind of be like, oh yeah, like that is what it's like to be Middle Eastern in this country at that time. And then to juxtapose that with my first day on Star Wars being me walking down the enemy ship in the enemy's outfit, and then taking off my helmet, and everyone who is like got their gun pointed at me, just like in that other movie, putting their gun down because I'm playing a character who is a hero. And my race doesn't matter, my skin doesn't matter, it's like the character matters. And that still makes me actually really emotional.
Bro.
Yeah.
We can't top that. Good night, everybody. Maddie here. Where's Maddie? Maddie wants to know, how long did it take you to get in and out of your costume? Is that a long process?
Good question.
I mean, I think my whole process was like an hour and a half from start to finish by the end. I think we spent a couple weeks really trying to hone it in and work through it, and I had two different makeup artists working on me at the same time, trying to speed it up a little bit, and they were just brilliant. Yeah, I really imagined it would be like a 3-hour process when I started, so I thought it was pretty incredible that that's really the same amount of time it would take me to try and look like a glamorous woman. So it's really...
You don't believe that at all, Mary.
Oh no, yeah, none of us bought that, Mary, none of us.
Nobody bought it, like 5,000 people here.
So yeah, it's great. It really doesn't take much longer to be Hera than any other part that I've played. So there's very little about it that is too labor intensive. It's pretty great.
Did it get faster? Like, did the initial ones take much longer? Oh yeah. So what was like the longest one?
I think the first day was like 3 hours.
Wow.
But that was like while we were figuring it out.
Right.
And then it was like 2 hours, and then it was just like less and less and less.
Wow,
Yeah,
cool.
It was pretty amazing.
Good question. It was Maddie, I think, who asked the question, right? Hey, Maddie.
I think he's here.
Mine, you're gonna be surprised at how long this took. Mine, they had to put on the scar and the contacts, and then I was ready. So like max 15 minutes if I'm chatting. I'm a chatter. I'm a chatterbox, so I was just chatting. They'd be like, Eman, we're good, you're good. Oh, I'm done? You've been done. Okay. Everyone else spends so much time in this trailer, so I'm a little bored, I want to hang out with you guys. So very fast for me, very luckily. But the outfit took like 2 or 3 people, like velcroing things, hooking things on so that when I'm running and stuff. So that took like maybe like 10 minutes. But 10 minutes to put on a single piece of clothing is like, it feels like a long time. 3 people working on it, so. But the makeup stuff was nothing.
Next question comes from Alberto from Monterrey, Mexico. Way Alberto, way over there. He says, what is your favorite Star Wars collectible? Mary, your house must have a ton of stuff.
We do have quite a few things. We have a really great Obi-Wan who's just sort of like wrapped around a shelf, like kind of when you first walk into our house.
Full size Obi-Wan?
No.
Oh, okay.
Books on there?
He's a little Obi-Wan, but he's kind of like this on like a bookshelf, you know, just sort of. And our son walks by all the time. It's just like, hey, Dad. So, it's very cute.
That's adorable.
Amazing.
You know, because they're my toys or whatever, the toys for Ezra and Ahsoka are just now coming out. I didn't have any figures and stuff at the beginning, but this one of the people who did art department on our show, he also makes minifigures. It's called Frederick's Figures on Instagram, and we threw like a little Star Wars fire barbecue at my place once, and then everyone was like, he has something to show you, Eman. I'm like, whoa, what is it? And he like unboxed the me in the stormtrooper outfit with the helmet, and it like looks, I mean, he made my beard cooler, you know, he made my hair even cooler. I was like, that's not me, that's the coolest version of me. And so I have this figure. It's the first me that I've ever gotten from Ahsoka. So now I sound super conceited that my favorite toy is mine as I say it out loud. But it just meant the most to me because it was the first toy, really.
Nobody here is going to judge you. If we had action figures of ourselves, that is the absolute first thing we're buying. Some folks are laughing because they know I'm telling the truth. Stephanie wants to know how much of Obi-Wan does Ewan bring home after filming?
Do you mean sort of Obi-Wan's essence?
Persona. Is he?
He's probably a bit more prone to sort of opening doors with the Force and things like that. You know, he's a bit more. He probably, you know, takes him a little more time to get out of those habits, maybe. Maybe a few more hello there's that he doesn't realize he's letting out.
Poor Ewan, he must get that 1,000 times a day.
Hello there?
Yes.
Even I use hello.
Yeah.
Exactly. When did I ever meet him for the first time? I'm never saying that. Like, I'm not
It's
going.
hard not to. I mean, I sometimes say it and then realize I didn't mean to say it like that. I just was saying hello there.
Sweetheart,
it's not a thing.
it's not what you think, is it?
For him, it's like triggering now, I think. Fatima wants to know, will there ever be a chance we get to see the entire Rebels crew together? You guys want to see that? Do you hope you'll ever see them together?
Nice. Hope so, for sure.
Yeah, we hope so. We
dearly.
strongly hope.
Hope so
and
much.
Pray
And yes.
keeping all of our
Think
fingers
positive
crossed.
thoughts about that.
Yes,
Yeah,
that it
would
will,
be very
like,
nice.
maybe, possibly.
Right.
Yes.
Mhm.
No, what?
That's it.
Well done, both of you. There's this really funny thing that I think me and a lot of fans were experiencing where, like, as the season progressed of Ahsoka, we started understanding Chopper a little bit more, like every episode. Am I alone in that? Nope. I think by the finale, I was like, this guy just blurts out F-bombs like every episode.
I'm pretty sure Dave does his voice, isn't that right? Dave Filoni?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Did you guys ever find yourselves like talking to Chopper between scenes or like doing anything, like just talking to him randomly for any reason?
Oh yeah. I mean, he's very inviting, you know, to want to talk to. I mean, he doesn't like anybody.
Little brat.
Yeah, but still, you still can't help but try and, you know, make conversation here and there.
And they're so good at it. The prop masters and the performers who do it's like 6 of them on the same machine, or same, you know, prop. And you'll just be hanging out and it'll just come. And it's like moving and talking, looking at you, looking away, moving its arm. You're like, oh, this is crazy. This is so alive. And there's 6 guys back there, you know, gaming it on. And they buy it, they buy it. We do buy it. We're just so locked in.
They'll be like, they'll know, if you're just sort of casually, you know, in a quiet moment, you think nobody's paying attention, and you're like, hey, Chopper, what's going on? They're like, all of a sudden, they're paying attention, and then they're like in the game with you.
So yes, for sure.
Speaking of them and how alive these creatures are, you have a funny story between your child and Grogu, I believe.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it didn't go as I had hoped, but yeah. So while we were shooting, I don't know if we told you this, but so my son was probably just like a little over a year when we were shooting the first season, and he loved Grogu. He still loves Grogu, but it was based on just like stuffed animals that we had at home. Like he knew the name, that's Grogu, and he was like really, attached to these Grogu dolls. So we thought, oh my God, we're gonna blow his mind and introduce him to the real Grogu, bring him to the set. And so we planned it. The crew members came and they brought Grogu to life for us on this certain day. And I brought my son to work so that he could see him. And so Ewan and I were there, we like bring him in, with all the bell and whistles, we're like, do-do-do-do-do, look who's here! And then they start, doing these amazing, puppeteering with Grogu coming to life, and my son just screams in horror and terror, and just would not stop screaming. And we're all like, have our phones out, we're videoing it. We're like ready for the moment, and then after a while, we just had to go. This stop. This is not gonna work. So yeah, he just did not make the connection. He didn't know what was going on, and we were the ones who were way too eager to bring this magical moment to him. But I think when he's older, maybe we can have a redo.
Show him those videos
and post it online for all of us.
Yeah.
As many other parents do, a lot of you guys are sitting here who do that. Easter Bunny videos, you know who you are.
Oh, it's getting hot in here, huh? It's getting hot.
I think that's, we'll talk about that later. Eman, what would Ezra's rap name be? And this is from T.
Was that from you? Who asked this? Raise your hand.
T,
Come on.
you at T?
Come
I
on.
see your hand back there.
I see you. Hey, shout out to the question. That's a good question. So I have thought about this because I am a rapper. And I guess my instinct was just to add a Darth in front of Jabba, but then I was like, there's no difference maybe. That just sounds like a Sith Jabba, So maybe Lil Lothrat, or you know what I mean?
It's gotta be taken already.
Lil Lothrat's for sure taken. There's probably a gamer tag on the Xbox or something. Lil Lothrat could be cool. I think I have to think on this a little harder, because I just thought Darth Jabba, and then, but it's like a Sith, so. I will think of Ezra Bridger's rap name, and I will post it on Twitter, if you have me on Twitter.
Boom.
Okay, T, that's for you. Just look out for it, T.
Breaking news, folks. That's what we do here. This question is kind of a heavy one. Last year, we lost Ray Stevenson, who was an absolutely incredible force on the show. He was so intimidating as Beta and Skull. I was just wondering if you guys have any stories, either while filming or offset, that you would want to share about Ray.
Well, I personally didn't really get to share the screen with him in the show. I wish that I had, because he's so brilliant at it, and just to kind of watch him bring that character to life is really magnificent. But I did get to have just the most beautiful interactions with him. He was an absolutely special human being, which anyone who's ever met him would tell you, that there's just something super magnetic and kind about him that made him, you just felt lucky to get to be in his presence. So yeah, I feel emotional talking about it. I didn't get to know him very well, but the little that I did know him, I feel really, really grateful to have had, and I'm sure you feel the same.
Yeah. Very special man. I didn't share scenes with him either, but the day that I did my first day with you on set, right after that, he had invited a lot of people over to where he was staying for a little get-together. And that is very indicative of him. He was a very familial person. He could bring so many different people together and then lighten the mood. So everyone's laughing, everyone's dancing, everyone's telling stories, and he was just this gregarious, fatherly figure, and not that he was fatherly to you, just it felt like this patriarch in many ways. And I think we all could tell right? And we should maybe make some noise for Ray's performance as Balin's film. Because the man had a spirit to him that lives beyond, and yeah, it was just such an honor to know him. But yeah.
I cannot miss out on this opportunity to talk about one of my all-time favorite movies with Mary here. Do we have any fans of Scott Pilgrim versus the World? I guess you guys have heard of it? I had this great conversation, this is a quick name drop. I was talking to Mila Jovovich a few weeks ago, and we had a wonderful conversation about the brilliant cast they had because the 30th anniversary of Days of Confused. And it was such a young cast, a lot of first-timers behind or in front of the camera, and they all described it as the best experience ever. They had a director who just loved the cast, who did everything he possibly could for them. And that cast grew, multiple huge careers. Matthew McConaughey, Mila, of course, a lot of folks. And she said, every once in a generation you have a film like this where you have this young, talented cast that spawns all these huge careers. I think the other one that I can think of is Scott Pilgrim versus the World. You guys have like Oscar nominees and Oscar winners and Emmy winners from that cast. What are some of your fondest memories? We don't have time to cover all of them because it just seems like it was the best experience ever. And work with the great Edgar Wright. What are some of your fondest memories on that set?
God, yeah, it's almost like a blur because it was like that time in your life when you're just having the most fun and with the most talented people, but also just the people that make you laugh the most, So it's just this kind of blur of energy, and we were working hard and we were playing hard and we were just sort of like, I don't know, it felt like college to me because I didn't go to college. So Scott Pilgrim was kind of my college experience, and those were all of my my classmates. And I feel incredibly lucky to have had that time with them all. I'm such an admirer of everyone's work from then until now, and I think it was just like one of those things where it was like, I think Edgar really knew how to bring together people who were very like-minded in their sensibilities, so we really clicked on screen and off screen. And I'm so proud of everybody. I'm really proud of what we made and what everybody's continuing to make. I feel really, really proud of them all.
You guys, clap for that, absolutely. You, Brie Larson, Brandon Rao. I talked to Brandon. He's finally getting back into some comedic roles like he always should be. So Brandon Rao has a movie coming out called Ick. It's kind of a horror movie, but it's for families. So please go watch Ick for Brandon because he needs to do more movies like that. Eman, you are from Texas, sir.
Yeah. 956, what's up?
We're Laredo people.
We're from Laredo. Yeah. We're just down the road.
It's Texas, it's not down the road. It takes days to get across Texas. How does it feel to come from a small city of Laredo to a big franchise like Star Wars, and your fellow Laredo folks are very proud of you, sir?
Thank you, and thank you to everyone I've met who came up from Laredo and mentioned it, because it does mean the world. I haven't been back to San Antonio in a long time. I ended up graduating my last semester here out of San Antonio, but San Antonio was like, to me as a kid from Laredo, the big city. Like we'd go to San Antonio to go to nice, fancy dinners at P.F. Chang's. Like that was like, we're like, oh, we're going to San Antonio? Does that mean we're going to P.F. Chang's, try to climb the horse? Anyone else try to climb that horse? And so San Antonio has a special place in my heart as well. And just being back here and getting to connect with people from Laredo feels very grounding, and it also makes it seem somewhat more like a dream. Because you, out in Hollywood, or whatever you would call that, in Los Angeles.
Galaxy far, far away.
Galaxy far, far away. I don't really run into Laredoans. It's not a place it's not like Austin, people from Austin go to LA, New York, LA, like that happens a lot. But I have not run into a Laredoan while just being out and about in California, so it almost isn't on my mind, except for when everyone's like, where are you from? Oh, I'm from New York, I'm from LA, or I'm from here, I went to this, I did that. I'm like, oh, what about you, Eman? I'm from Laredo. And they're like, Laredo, like the song? I say, yeah, exactly, like the Jeep Laredo. And so it's sort of like a non sequitur, like it's non-starter in some ways because people don't know Laredo. But to be here and then right away go into Laredo and things and be like, well, what high school did you go to? And the slang, and like, no way, no mames. You know, just like, I was in the elevator at the Kimpton Hotel and someone said something and then she went, ah. And I was like, I haven't done that in forever. Because it's a Laredoan adaptation. After like a joke, you go, ah. It's like saying, like, I'm just kidding. And so like that was like, whoa, I forgot. And because it doesn't happen anymore, so it feels really beautiful. It's like a warming of my soul in a place that I didn't know was getting cold.
I'm just gonna make a note and say that's the first time anyone's ever done that on a Comic-Con stage. Speaking of language, bro. Let's see, this question for both of you guys. Who do you think would win in a battle between R2-D2 and Chopper? This is from Trey T. Trey, where you at, bro? Over there.
Trey, you trying to get us in trouble, Trey. You're trying to get us in trouble, Trey.
Does Disney allow you guys to answer that?
I think Mary really wants to answer first.
My loyalty lies with Chopper. It's purely, it's more about...
Respect. And hey, easy, Chopper.
Who would Mary Elizabeth Winstead?
How about it? Down from here.
Okay.
Nah, he's
Chopper. So you say Chopper?
I'm going with Chopper because I don't want him to be mad at me. That's the only.
We gotta work with that guy. We gotta see him soon. Okay, based on stats alone, I personally think Chopper as well. I can respect that R2 is R2, right? Like, hey, R2-D2, you set the blueprint, right? Chopper is here but I like Chopper because we get to work with Chopper. And he's a war criminal. He's a little bit more unhinged, a little more my style. So Chopper, good question.
Good question. And also this one's for Eman. This is from Kira from Austin, Texas. Kira, where you at, girl? Oh, she's right there. Look at you. She says, I love your music. How are you growing your music, art, and acting, and tennis?
That's right. Thank you, Kira. I love your hair. That's right. I do make music. This is one of my hoodies. My artist name is Dragon Wolf with a U. Come on. And I am training to be a professional tennis player. That is really hard. And I do come from a background, I taught for 8 years, I played college, and so I have a lot of experience in tennis. But that just, there's no way around the hours it takes, but I can't help myself, but want to keep trying to go pro. And eventually going pro, I'm pretty sure. And then with music, it's, hello? Okay. With music, it's not even that I consciously seek it out. I'll be talking to Mary backstage and she'll say something, 2-3 words in a row that just to my brain goes, and all of a sudden I'm in the bathroom like rapping, using those 3 lines and like it's inspired a whole rap song, or I'll hear a melody and it inspires, like it just sort of arrives at me and then it won't leave me alone. Like I can't talk to someone while that thing has implanted itself in my mind. I like can't focus on anything else. So I have to go create something of it, like a demo or something, and then it like leaves my brain. I'm like, okay. And I'll go record that later, but I got it out, you know? So it feels really fortunate that I don't have to like mine for it. It just sort of shows up in my day-to-day and everything that I do. And then I just go and like honor that by going to a studio, recording, and making clips and stuff. So it's a very natural process. It's one of my favorite things to do. Thank you for asking that.
Absolutely. Thank all you guys for your questions. These two have to get back to meeting all you lovely folks at their booth. But we just want to say the first season of Ahsoka was absolutely incredible. We loved every moment of it. You guys have explored parts of the universe, literally, that we've not ever seen, and we are forever grateful for it. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having us.
Make some noise!
Appreciate you. And of course, be with y'all.